Pittsburgh, PA. A football town that'll turn you black and yellow. It's the Steel Curtain, the Immaculate Reception, and the greatest dynasty of all. These are the 1978 Pittsburgh Steelers. 17-0. While many are great, Miami football is perfect. No names in all. World champions with a will to win by any means necessary. These are the 1972 Miami Dolphins. The Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida, home to the only perfect Super Bowl football team, the 1972 Dolphins. And coming out of the tunnel, here are one of the great dynasties ever, the 1978 Pittsburgh Steelers. Our quarterback matchup is two Hall of Famers, Terry Bradshaw and Bob Greasy, and this guy was pretty good too, Hall of Fame fullback Larry Zonka. The legends are out with a trip to the Dream Bowl on the line. AFC Championship underway. 78 Steelers, 72 Dolphins. Larry Anderson to the 30, make it the 31, and that is where the 78 Steelers and one of the best, most talented offenses too in league history will take the field. I'm Nick Rice, joined by Hank Cinnamon. 68 degrees in a beautiful late afternoon showdown to the AFC title. Here's the tight end, Cunningham for 11, and a Pittsburgh first down.
Well, this is an exciting matchup of the 70s because these two teams definitely went up against each other in the playoffs, and pretty much for the AFC to figure out who is the granddaddy of all the 1970s AFC teams.
Well, going away, these were the two best teams of that decade, but what makes them so good all time, even to this day, is this is pre-free agency, pre-trading and stuff like that, much more common trading that is, as Jim Smith picks up the first down, where guys like Chuck Noll and Don Shula were able to almost, freeload all of the Hall of Fame talent. They drafted these guys and they hung in throughout their careers, where the salary cap also didn't, shred some of the talent of these teams. So they were able to build on the early 70s. Pittsburgh was dominant in 78, Miami in 72, and the Hall of Fame talent is unmatched and might not ever be matched, Hank, in NFL history.
And also, the end of the 70s fostered a lot of rule changes that affected both of these teams because they did have such great defenses. And pass interference became more prevalent, and they weren't able to do the things that they were able to do in the 70s while it was in the 80s.
Yeah, they called it the Mel Blount rule, where guys, can only be pressed 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. It did help out Pittsburgh offensively, but it certainly shredded some of the legendary numbers for the Steelers defensively. Pittsburgh was able to hoard 10 Hall of Fame players for the 78 Steelers. I mean, think about that. Almost half of their starting lineup are Hall of Famers. Miami with 5 gold jacket players too, including Greasy and Zonka. They combined for the gain of 10 on Miami's first play of the AFC Championship.
Well, it's just good to see such legendary talent here on the field as we go to see who's going to represent the AFC in the Dream Bowl, and it just seems like we're going to see a lot of ground and pound, I feel like.
Yeah, that's for sure. Steelers won the game 20-6 when these two met here in the regular season finale. A rematch of that rough and tough smash mouth football game. A short pickup here for Zonka. We're midway through the AFC title with no score. And the winner will play the victor of the Carolina-San Francisco NFC title game tomorrow for the Dream Bowl 7 championship game. Miami faces 3rd and 3. The Dolphins were among the better third down offenses in the league during the regular season at 43%. Greasy off the play fake, over the middle to Twilly. Lambert with great coverage, but a better catch for Twilly and a first down.
Getting a rhythm here against this Pittsburgh Steelers defense that's so dominant is key for the Dolphins.
Greasy looks his way again, deep slant, and Twilly's got another first down. And Bob Greasy, who didn't play much before the Super Bowl against Washington due to a leg injury. Well, he has been healthy all year, and Greasy has been brilliant early against the Steel Curtain. After that pass to Twilly, he's back to the air again. He throws to Otto Stowe this time. Dirk Winston wraps him up on a gain of 7.
What a decision that was for Don Shula, because you've got this great quarterback in Bob Greasy, and then you had the guy who had won the season for you with Earl Morrow, who had experience in the Super Bowl, especially winning a Super Bowl game, and you went back to your original starter. I don't know if most coaches would have done that in the NFL. It's definitely an isolated situation.
And that's the sort of, especially when a guy can win it, the sort of decision that can galvanize a football team. Jim Kick against Anderson wins that battle and's got the first down. That reminds me a lot of Drew Bledsoe playing the AFC Championship back in 2001 before Brady comes back from injury in the Super Bowl against the Rams.
Most people forget that Tom Brady was injured in that Pittsburgh AFC Championship game and comes back playing with a high fever.
Oh, yeah.
So that cemented his legacy, as well as being a second-year quarterback, a complete nobody, playing in his first Super Bowl and winning it.
Maybe he ordered some bad pizza, as Larry Zonka gains a couple. Miami and Pittsburgh, we brought it up early in the broadcast. Only one drive for each of them. It's run, defense, smash mouth football. Morris is stopped here with a big hit from the Steelers linebacker. We bring in Garo Yepremian to close the first quarter. Chip shot for the lead, and the kick is good. One drive for the Dolphins and the Steelers. We played 5 in the AFC Championship. Miami 3, Pittsburgh 0.
And while the Miami Dolphins had a great defense on their first drive, the Steelers did end up stalling out Miami's first offensive drive and making them kick a field goal, which is definitely a win for your defense.
Well, Pittsburgh this season was second. The Steel Curtain second in yards and first in points defensively. Miami not far behind at 5th overall in total defense. Harris stacked up inside by Vern Den Herder. In fact, that'll lose a yard.
And I want to see the Pittsburgh Steelers pass the ball, because it seems like Miami is trying to stop the run, and Pittsburgh actually excels decently passing the football.
Well, we've seen it throughout these playoffs, especially in that game just a week ago, you and I, the Bears-Panthers game, where running the ball doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win the football game, but it certainly helps in that Peyton Stewart matchup. Swan on a third down, near the marker. This one's very close. Nick Buonacani dragged him down to the 45. The officials will bring in the chain gang, and they do give him the first down by just an inch.
Yeah, usually in the playoffs, you want to run the ball and play good defense. Jonathan Stewart and the Panthers, they went against that mold and definitely won by the arm of their quarterback. But let's not forget that Jonathan Stewart was the hero of the game at the very end, breaking a tackle to get into field goal range.
Yeah, that in overtime. Harris to about the 45 and a half, maybe the 46-yard line. And that was just one of the many great upsets throughout these playoffs. Both number one seeds have gone, rather one of the number one seeds, but both out of conferences have had a first-round bye club go one and done in the playoffs. Swan with a big catch here. And our AFC Championship game features the 2-seed Steelers and the 5-seed Dolphins. So both teams have had to pull off upsets to reach this AFC title game. Swan was a big reason why Pittsburgh is there. Swan, rather, on the block on the Harris run. That's a gain of 9.
Yeah, and on that previous play, it seemed like they listened to me by passing the ball. Let's see if they can get it on third.
Here is Cunningham with the first down, and Bradshaw looks very comfortable since the relatively slow start for the offense. It's a first down to the 22. They'll go with the backup Rocky Bleier on a pitch play. He's at the 15 and spun down to the 13. Anderson makes the stop.
Yeah, no, that was a great job by Bleier getting to the outside and breaking a tackle, making it a manageable situation.
Harris pulled down by Colon behind the line. Big play up front by that Miami defense. And now the Steelers, one of the worst third down offenses in the league here. They'll go to the air off the play fake. Here's Harris who breaks a tackle. Franco Harris, touchdown Pittsburgh.
And the Dolphins have been playing 7-8-man boxes, and it seems like the Steelers noticed this, so why not do a play action fake? Throw it to the running back that nobody is covering out of the backfield, and Franco Harris is now celebrating up 3 points against the Miami Dolphins.
And the extra point is good. Harris had just one touchdown catch the entire season, and of course leaks out against that anxious and aggressive Miami defense. All-out blitz. Bill Arnsparger dialed out that blitz, and he certainly pays the price. And now Miami down 4 has 2:17 left in the half, and if anyone can help pull this team in front against the steel curtain, it's got to be Greasy and this offense. On a deep drop, he throws quickly, and Shell has picked him off.
Excellent interception there by Donnie Shell, and that's one of those announcers or commentators jinxes right there. And I think he's got the right idea. He just threw it too short to Warfield.
First down on a run to Harris, and he will not go down. Wrapped up with the 19 by Fernandez, but even Harris is starting to pick up the slack on this offense.
Yeah, tough running here by Franco Harris, the Hall of Famer. Getting it into the red zone of the Dolphins. And with another trip into the red zone, let's see if the Steelers can add more points.
Harris, without much debate, the best running back in Pittsburgh history. Jerome Bettis, Rashard Mendenhall, Willie Parker, some great guys, Le'Veon Bell too, but Harris was as good as any of those guys and really even better, and has been a workhorse early. He's in the block. The pass towards the end zone to Swan is caught just short of it. Anderson makes a big stop at the goal line.
Yeah, zone play in the red zone at around the 10-yard line. Not much you can do when you're in that formation. Great job running that slant.
And out to Cunningham for the touchdown. And Miami has just fallen in love with the blitz, Hank, and they get beat with a quick throw.
Yeah, sometimes the blitz can help you, especially when you're expecting a running play, but it hurts you when you've got a Hall of Fame quarterback that can diagnose that and just counter you with the worst situation that you can imagine.
And Pittsburgh caps off consecutive drives with touchdowns. Bradshaw with 2 touchdowns today. Morris motors to about the 31. And Greasy's last throw was, of course, that interception to Shell. And now it seems in this spot, he's got to figure out a way to put some points on the board here. On first down, he's looking deep. Greasy with plenty of time. He's going for it all right here, and that's Twilly, who makes a circus catch, 49 yards on a first down.
You ask and you receive. Now they need at least a field goal to make this game more manageable.
They'll run the no huddle. Greasy, after the brilliant pass, certainly making up for the interception. He's sacked. Loss of 7. Let's check out that play again. That was Tony Dungy, a future NFL coach and a great Steeler in the 70s. A great hit from Dungy, but a better catch for the first down.
It seemed like he was spot shadowing Twilly instead of running with him. He probably could have gotten more on that ball as a defender if he hadn't been playing like a center fielder.
And in that spot, it seems that's the only thing you don't want to give up, a deep ball right away like that. On 3rd and 13, Greasy looks, rolls right, and fires into coverage. Very lucky Greasy wasn't picked off there. Mel Blunt on the pass deflection. And now Garrow, a 40-yard field goal attempt, was just 65% on field goals this year. Gets a good boost out of the wind as that curves in, and the Dolphins score some late points.
Very fortunate by Garrow Yepremian, bending it to the left and then to the right again. And being down by 8 is surely better than being down by 11.
And now the Steelers have a chance with a little under 40 seconds here on the Anderson return. But we've seen teams throughout the playoffs, it seems, almost outthink themselves. Offensive coordinator Tom Moore, head coach Chuck Noll, they go run and call a timeout. We've seen this happen a lot. The Steelers are almost conflicting themselves, going timeout and a run. They'll go second down from the 31-yard line. Another run for Harris. Dragged down to the 33, no timeout, and it looks like, yes, the Steelers run out the clock, and we're headed to halftime. It's 14-6, and after a strong start from the Dolphins and the Yepremian field goal, it's been all Pittsburgh here in South Florida. 14-6 Steelers at the end of the first half. And with that, we are ready to begin the second. This is Nick Rice, Hank Cinnamon, winner to the Dream Bowl. It's a battle between two of the greatest teams of all time. Winner out of the AFC will have to have some second half performance. Smith makes the stop of Morris, and through 2 quarters, well, the Steelers have got to feel very encouraged about the way they've played. More yards, more time of possession, and have won the turnover battle too.
Yeah, more balance on the side of the Steelers has definitely allowed them to have this lead, as well as that turnover definitely allows them to cement an 8-point lead.
They'll go run to begin the second half, and a very quiet Larry Zonka stuffed by Joe Green. That's the benefit of having that anchor in the middle. Joe Green, mean Joe Green that is, at defensive tackle. He has really neutralized Zonka, who gets the call again. Not only a short gain, but even that might be coming back. Doug Krusen with the hold.
Yeah, last week it seemed like Larry Zonka had his way with the Denver Broncos defense. This week, with a much more stout defense up the middle, he's not having the luck he's had throughout the playoffs.
Greasy going for it all again, and this time that pass is broken up. Well, the Dolphins are coming off of that riveting win at the Broncos last week, the aforementioned 17-16 come from behind win. In that game, Miami was brilliant in the red zone defensively, forcing turnovers. A Curtis Johnson interception really ended the Broncos' chances, along with, of course, a huge miss from Jason Elam late in the game. Transition a week later, the Steelers have been perfect in the red zone, and that's been the difference so far.
Yeah, when you had momentum in that Denver game, it helped you win. In this one, the Steelers have just a demoralizing defense, and they have Hall of Famers running the football and passing it. It allows you to not be as good of a defense.
Imagine being Hall of Famer John Stallworth or Lynn Swann in a game like this. You're winning, you're playing well, but they haven't really made an impact. Here's Randy Grossman, gain of 19 and a first down.
Yeah, but we saw at the end of that Panthers-Bears game, Greg Olsen is a good player in his own right, didn't really make an impact until one of the last drives of the game.
Certainly overdue is Swann and Stallworth to have an Olsen type of late game moment. Then Herter drags down Harris. Pittsburgh could take a commanding lead with even a field goal on this drive, let alone a touchdown. They're at the Miami 20. A run to Harris. He runs right through the defender and is down to the 15. That is a punishing run from Harris.
Yeah, and let's see how the Dolphins line up. Definitely allowing the Steelers to run the ball, but they do a good job bottling that up.
Well, they yet again brought the blitz, and this time it paid off for them. And Pittsburgh will settle for the Roy Girella field goal, 36. And this one's long enough, and the kick is good. Pittsburgh back on the board, and the Steelers back up 2 scores have put the Dolphins in a tough spot here in the second half.
Unlike with a defense that is really good in the Dolphins, unlike another situation where you might allow a field goal and that might be a success for you, this isn't as much because it's still a 2-possession game. So while you kept the Steelers out of the end zone, you still have to score 2 touchdowns.
And the Dolphins hope they can begin 1 touchdown drive out of the Wildcat, and it ends up being a good decision. Zonka runs out, gain of 14 and a first down.
Maybe they should line up in that formation more. Maybe Zonka will get more yardage because it hasn't been working for him in any other capacity.
Well, Larry Zonka's 64 broken tackles in the regular season was second best in the league. He is as tough as they come to bring down. Greasy out of the corner to Marv Fleming, the tight end out of Utah with his first catch, and a Miami first down.
Despite the fact that that was a completion, it was still kind of dangerous because you can see the defender looming.
Blitz, but they beat him with a slant to Twilly. His numbers have been very good. In fact, as good as any game all year. Twilly, 86 yards on 4 catches. 2:10 to go in the third. Greasy rolling right now. Deep ball to Twilly, and he's got the first down, but Pittsburgh ran this all-out blitz, leaving everybody open, and Greasy threw to the guy who makes another big play for him and is over 100 yards. Greasy's been red hot in this third quarter drive, but this time his deep ball is incomplete. Warfield, ironically, one of the only guys at receiver struggling today. Second down from the 19-yard line, down by 11 in a consequential drive. Zonka stuff that brings up a critical third and 8 yards to go.
If you're the Dolphins, you just can't be making a mistake here. Quarterbacks have made that in this playoff year. Just don't do anything dumb.
Morris on the draw. That caught the Steelers off guard, but he is short of the first down. And Don Shula does not throw the challenge flag. Interesting decision. He was very close, and Yepremian blows it. Whoa, that wasn't just off. Look out. That was off by a mile. Tough break for Miami.
That was like Gary Yepremian was bird boxing, blindfolded. You just can't do that. You might as well just go for it.
Well, Yepremian, we thought maybe that gaff in the Super Bowl where he was trying to throw a forward pass was bad enough. He compounds that with an even bigger blunder on that field goal.
That's like one of those situations where either your plantar foot was off, or maybe you slipped, or maybe it was laces, not laces out, Dan. Maybe it was one of those situations.
Or maybe he just wasn't thinking. Any one of those, and a disastrous miss for them in a 2-score game. Here's Swan with a foot race to the end zone. Biggest play of the day from the Hall of Fame Lynn Swan, and that puts him at nearly 100 yards, and a massive play for the Steelers.
The graceful one breaks a tackle, goes to the outside, races defenders to the end zone, eventually gets caught, but man, that's from missing a field goal to that, it's just got to be demoralizing for your team.
And if the Steelers can punch this one in with a touchdown, the game might just be over. Blyer is stuffed by Ball, but even a field goal would add to the lead, but still make it a 2-score game. So Miami absolutely defensively has a lot to play for on this drive with the third quarter winding down. Bradshaw fires, and that is knocked away by Bill Stanfill of Miami.
Yeah, just even a field goal, like you said, makes this an even bigger game. But don't count the Dolphins out because they might have some fight in them.
That pass knocked away. Pittsburgh was 2 for 3 on third down prior to that. Incompletion from Bradshaw. Just a quarter to go in the AFC Championship game. The Steelers have been the better team throughout, but even a field goal keeps the Dolphins alive. Final play of the third, Jarella from 32, and it's right down Broadway. Pittsburgh 20, Miami 6. End of 3, and statistically, it's right what you'd expect. Steelers in so many categories have the lead and are up by 14.
Just that drive where Yepremian misses that field goal, where you can look at the stat sheet and say, oh, it shouldn't be off by that much. Probably should be an 11-point lead for the Steelers, but instead it's more of a 14-point lead because of that missed field goal.
Yeah, and that might have even caused the Dolphins to blink a little bit on the ensuing Lynn Swann play. I mean, coulda, shoulda, woulda. Miami, one of the great seasons, certainly capable of beating a team like this, down by 14, and some miscues have to be what you look at if you're Don Shula in Miami. And by this point, the Dolphins, well, if they don't score now, the game might just be over. Start of the fourth, down 14. Greasy looks on a 2nd and 6, throws deep off of the pressure, and there's Stowe with the catch. Some brilliant footwork from Hall of Famer Bob Greasy for the first down.
Some great footwork, but he's got Howard Twilley wide open on the left side. Surprised he didn't see him. If Twilley catches that, it's a touchdown for the Dolphins, and they've opened this game back up.
And Twilley seems to have just been unguardable from Pittsburgh, and he's been matched up on the great Tony Dungy throughout. A run to Zonka, and he motors to about the 34-yard line. Decent numbers for Zonka, but not good enough to keep the Dolphins in the game as of now. 4:06 left in the fourth. Dolphins driving, a desperate attempt to come back in the game. Twilley has just been brilliant today. 6 for $119.
He's been their most consistent player here, and it doesn't seem like Tony Dungy is able to defend him. He's definitely getting outmatched by Twilley. Maybe they give him some help.
7-year pro out of Tulsa, just 26 catches in the regular season. Deep ball to Warfield. He had 49 himself. One right here as he beats Blunt for the first down. And Miami is going to hurry back to the line and line up in the Wildcat. 4th trip in the red zone. They have just 6 points to show for it so far. Zonka buried for a loss. That's Robin Cole with the tackle.
Maybe he should have ran to the right, because that seemed to work more for him. Nobody was fooled on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
2nd and goal from the 6. Here is Greasy looking end zone. He throws to Stowe, who's short, but that does help him out a bit. Greasy with 220 yards, but the brutal interception to Shell and a couple of red zone miscues too. It's 3rd and goal. A handoff to Jim Kick, the fullback. Touchdown Miami.
Nobody was expecting Jim Kick there, as he just runs straight to the open spot, not touched into the end zone. He dives like he's doing a slip and slide, and the Dolphins...
block PAT here.
Wow, that changes this game up.
Yeah, Jack Lambert ran it untouched. Thank you very much. I'll snag that. And I mean, really, he could have even returned that one. He felt compelled to stop. Delaplane brings it back, but we've got an 8-point game with 2:52 to go.
Now the Miami Dolphins have to do a 2-point conversion if they get the ball back and do a drive for a touchdown.
Just to potentially go to overtime. Miami, one of the top 5 defenses in the league this season. Pittsburgh runs clock against that defense, but the Dolphins certainly capable of a stop right here. They'll go run with Harris, final play before the 2-minute warning, and Colin makes the play. So the Steelers on 3rd down, where they have shined tonight, have a chance to all but secure a win with a conversion here from the 29-yard line. Blyer is the running back behind Sidney Thornton. They'll go run with Rocky, and he's got the first down with 1:54 to go.
And it's not over yet, because Miami did stock up on their timeouts, and they're calling one of them there. So they'll have time on the clock and 2 timeouts. So if there's a third down conversion, they might be trying to get the fourth down.
Right. Harris dragged down, but the perfect team. 17-0. Still to this day, the only team ever to not lose a single game. Their chances of going to the Dream Bowl is on the ropes right now. Harris gets a block and is wrapped up at the 40. And for the perfect team to win the ultimate championship of the greatest team season, they have to stop the Steelers here. First down and the game is over. From the 40. 1:46 to go. It's a third down, and Bradshaw's going to throw it. Jump ball to Blyer, and that is caught, but ruled out of bounds. That is a head-scratching decision, and the Steelers will punt.
Extremely, because all you have to do is run a play, and you can run 30-some-odd seconds off the clock, make it much more difficult for the Miami Dolphins to come back in this game. That really does nothing for you because it's an incomplete pass and it's out of bounds, and now the ball's at the 50-yard line for Bob Greasy and the Dolphins to possibly do something.
Yeah, that makes it a lot easier. A great return from Scott, one of his best of the season. 29 yards on the run back for the Pro Bowler out of Georgia. Miami needs 51 yards in 90 seconds. They'll lean on their Hall of Fame quarterback. Greasy, well, that's certainly not the play they wanted. Loss of 2. No huddle with 1:17 in the AFC Championship game. Winner to the greatest team's ultimate championship. Twilly has just been the best receiver on the field today, and that includes Stallworth and Swan on the other side. First down with a minute to go. No huddle. Third play of the drive. Greasy unloads into traffic, and had he thrown it a bit sooner, that might have been completed. Knocked down at the 10.
Yeah, Tony Dungy has definitely been the anchor of this. And when I say anchor, I mean in a bad way of the Steelers defense. Seems like the safety of the Steelers just had enough of it.
He's in on the blitz. Morris is wide open, but a flag is down. And this might be coming back. Big penalty here. And that winds up being a 29-yard mistake on Marv Fleming. Let's check out that play again. Did he need to hold? Let's see. He backs out. No reason to hold there. And that is huge.
And all you got to do is just chip the guy. Just kind of get in his face and move out of the way.
Well, so much for that great field position on the Scott return. They bring it all back. A penalty on number 79, Wayne Moore.
And that you're trying to help your quarterback out. I get that. But you can't do penalties when you're trying to win a football game and you're down by a possession.
You don't often see 2nd and 25. Greasy throws inside to kick, who gains 9. The Dolphins have really beat themselves on this drive. They need a bit of a miracle. 3rd and 16 with 38 seconds to go. Greasy hit as he throws. They get it with Mandich. First down, Miami. The Dolphins are alive. And in the red zone for the 5th time today, this one has to be a touchdown.
And nobody was covering Mandich. Absolutely no one. He was going right down the seam. Guys were playing in a zone. You just can't do that if you're a defense. But I understand that you're trying to prevent a touchdown. That's kind of head scratching. That you weren't controlling the middle of the field there.
Yeah, just an inexcusable lapse in coverage this late in the game. You saw it tomorrow. Panthers and Niners play at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific. Should be an outstanding game. They'll play the winner of this one in the Dream Bowl 7 to determine the greatest team in NFL history. Out of the AFC comes down to 20 seconds of regulation. Greasy on a 3rd and 10, looking deep, and he is knocked down immediately. Dolphins need a miracle, even better than the Mandich catch. 4th and 18. Miami has been the home of miracles so many times. They need one more. Blitz coming. Greasy hit as he throws. Knocked down at the 25. And the 78 Steelers, the greatest dynasty of all time, now the greatest team in the AFC all time. The 78 Pittsburgh Steelers are Dream Bowl bound again. a brilliant win, 20-12 over Miami.
Yeah, and they deserve it. Great defense during the game. Was able to muster up enough points to get ahead, capitalize off of their opportunities, and we'll get to show what they've got.
Hello everyone, this is Hank with the PR52 YouTube channel. For the last 16 years, I've been rooting on the Eagles and posting videos on YouTube. I'm the best Eagles fan that there's ever been, and I'm always positive.
Opening.
Oh my god, dude, that was such a stupid throw!
5 minutes later.
Why are you celebrating? It's 17-3, and there's 2 minutes left to go in the goddamn game. We're not gonna win this. Just give the ref back the ball.
And I am such a nice guy, trust me, bro.
Why would you pass the ball 2 yards on 4th and 10?
If you'd like, I have a YouTube channel called PR52. 52 because that was the best Super Bowl year. That's being completely objective as well. I also have a podcast called Throwing Snowballs Podcast, where I talk about mostly the Philadelphia Eagles and other varying sports topics. I also operate a Tecmo Super Bowl simulation league called the Best Team Football League, or the BTFL, which takes players from the NFL and puts them together in order to gain the prize of who is the best team in history. Winner, of course, wins the Tecmo Best Bowl and is commented over by a wide variety of YouTubers and internet personalities in a sort of NFL primetime-esque highlight format. Excuse me, I'm recording right now. Oh, sorry. Oh.
Get off me!
Well, I hope you enjoy and check me out and subscribe to my videos. Oh, wait, sorry, we're recording.
Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling.